All right, folks, back for the after show. If anyone wants to come in and chat or go to the Discord and actually talk, I'm going to leave this up for a little bit and see if anyone's interested. If not, I'll just shut it down and go to sleep. And again, the Discord link is right here. You just go to that link, and if you don't have Discord installed, you can install it. I think you can use the web version too. But that will allow you to go right into my voice channel, and we can actually talk instead of typing all the time. And I'm going to try and make this a regular thing where it's like I'm going to have two of them. One's a town hall, one's an after show. Right now I have the town hall down here. That's the town hall link. And, you know, I'll get all this squared away. I just, like last night, got this working. So yeah, if you go to this link, you can actually come into my voice channel, and we can talk instead of type, and talk Bigfoot. Let me see if anyone, and I'll also be watching the chat. I see 5 people have started watching. Though all, if you want to talk instead of type, just go to this link. That'll get you into my Discord where we can actually discuss Bigfoot. And I'm calling that's my town hall channel. I have an after show, a town hall channel, and I'm also going to start doing interviews in there to where people can join the interview channel, and you'll actually be able to, almost like phoning in a question, you'll actually be able to ask questions of whoever I'm interviewing. That's once I get it straightened out. I just got it working yesterday. I have to work out the bugs before I move on into doing that. So for those of you, I don't know if you were in, you saw the show, but what I did was I went over some information I've discovered today that shows that Dogman there is a potential that a Dogman is an evolved giant raccoon, as stupid as that sounds, that split off millions of years ago from the lineage we know of the smaller raccoons. So if you have any questions, I'm watching the chat and I'm watching the town hall. I'm listening for the town hall. Let's see, I'll put up the lineage again so you all can look at it if you didn't see it before. Oops, I actually closed it. I can't do that, can I? Nope, can't do that. I closed it out already. Yeah, David Martin, if you're still there, can you clarify this last thing that you put in here before I shut off the main show? You said, what are you believe seriously? What, or do you think I'm joking about this giant raccoon? I don't know if that's the fact, if that's what you're asking me. I don't know if it's really a giant raccoon, but if people are literally seeing what they're describing as a dog man, what looks like a dog, but has four fingers and what appears to be a thumb, and a foot that looks canine-ish. It's not a dog man. It's, you know, first of all, the man has nothing to do with it. It's just shaped like a man because it walks upright, I guess, and it has arm. It would have to be a creature, a large creature that's split off millions of years ago and evolved on its own from the line of bear, raccoon, dog. I'm not even going to say otter because that's kind of crazy. But those three creatures are related to each other very closely, and they were descended from the same creature millions of years ago. So a dog man, which has hands like a raccoon, feet like a raccoon, and a canine-looking face, which raccoons have. If you just imagine a raccoon with a huge head, you know, that's what it would have to be. It would have to be a giant raccoon, like a giant sloth or a giant lemur, or, you know, any of the other giant creatures that don't exist anymore but used to. This is one, a giant raccoon that still exists, and it learned to walk bipedally. That one change, well, being a giant raccoon and evolving the ability to walk bipedally, would make it exactly what a dogman is today. That's the only change it would have to be. It doesn't have to be mixed with a primate or nothing like that. My chat is not moving. So if y'all are, I don't know if something's wrong with it because I stopped it and started it. Maybe I mixed it up or messed up the chat. Can one of you guys type something so I can see that it is working? You just don't feel like chatting. And then I'll know. And yeah, participants is what is wrong again, I can see. Yeah, it says there's 6 people watching right now, but the chat's not moving. So if you are typing something, for some reason the chat's not moving for me. So you can use this link right here to join the voice channel on my Discord server, and then we can talk instead of type, which is going to become a regular thing. I'm going to do town halls, after shows, interviews, all in voice. So people can ask questions of anyone I'm interviewing, or we can get in there and have like a round table or a town hall discussion. Oh yeah. Yeah, Dogman is a lot of people. The people who are firm believers in Dogman, by and large, they all seem to believe that Dogman is the only one that's killing people. I don't believe that. I think Sasquatch does too. But they are definitely considered the most aggressive and violent of the cryptids. I'm not going to say Bigfoot because it's not a Bigfoot. Do not believe it's a Bigfoot at all. Unless it's a deformed Bigfoot. But you can't call it a Dogman if that's the case. But there was the Land Between the Lakes situation where a man, his wife, his son, and his daughter were all killed. And they found the 9-year-old daughter half-eaten 30 feet up in a tree. So, what's up, Kurto? And also evidently a Dogman, again in Land Between the Lakes, got a guy who was out hunting, pulled him out of his tent, drug him off like 2 miles, and then ate him. Cooling? I mean chilling? Is it you just play on words instead of chilling, you're cooling? Hey, Crypto. There's the link to my town hall voice channel on my Discord server. Oh, vaping. Yeah. I got my vape here too. I don't like to hit it because it makes a loud noise in the microphone. Here, I'll mute it. Yeah, John, I would agree with that. That Bigfoot, it's a coin toss, what you're going to end up with. But Dogman, evidently the consensus is you run into a Dogman, you're in for it. It's always going to be an issue. It's always going to be aggressive and violent. So, yeah, that's from everything I've heard. You know, like I said, I don't know that I believe in Dogman. The theory I put out there tonight is the only way that Dogman can exist, in my opinion. Not me, no. I mean, I only had the one. Well, no, actually, I had two other encounters that I didn't realize I had until later. But I had one that was paralleling me through the woods that happened just before I saw the one looking at me in the window. And then years later, about 5 years later, I actually had a Bigfoot come up to me in the White Mountains while I was taking a leak in a dry creek bed at night. And I thought it was a friend of mine, but he had never even left the campsite because he was too afraid. You know, I had grown up in Boston, but I spent summers in the mountains in Virginia. So I was kind of acclimated to being in the country and all that stuff. But my friends, we went camping. It was the first time they'd ever been camping. He would not leave the campsite, which was just this little clearing. It was a hunter's campsite. It wasn't actually at like a KOA. We were halfway up the side of a mountain in this hunter's clearing where hunters camp, because the KOA was full, so the ranger sent us to this campsite. And when we were there, my friend wouldn't leave. Even to get firewood, he walked around the edge of the clearing and picked up wood. And I walked out into the forest to get some wood. And I ran into this dry creek bed, and I was picking up wood, and then I had to take a leak. So I was taking a leak. And I heard somebody walk up behind me at the top of the creek bed, which was, it was probably, 8 foot from where I was standing to the top of the ground, the top of the bank of the creek bed. And there was somebody standing up there, and I was looking up and I could see them standing there, and I thought it was my friend. And so I was like, hey, what are you trying to do, scare me or whatever? And he didn't say anything, and I was still taking a leak, so I went back to what I was doing. And I turned around, and I didn't see him anymore. I climbed up out of there, and I looked around for him, and I didn't see him. So when I went back to the campground, I said to him, I said, what was that all about? You trying to scare me? He said, what are you talking about? I never left the clearing. So, yeah, it had to be a Bigfoot. Which, after the fact, is a little disturbing, because I was down in the bottom of a creek bed looking up at this thing, and it could have been standing any distance from the edge, because I would only see it from about maybe the mid-thighs up. So it could have been standing considerably far back from the bank, because he was just in silhouette. There was very little light. He was just in silhouette, so it's a little hard to determine how tall he was, because I don't know how far back from the edge he was. So when I come up out of the creek bed and looked around for my friend, I was looking for somebody who was shorter than me. This thing could have been standing right next to me, and I would have assumed it was a tree trunk, because it would have been so big. So thinking back, it's like, kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies. Like, how close was I to this thing? Was it still standing there? Did I walk right up next to it? I mean, could it have just grabbed me and, twisted my head off? I don't think there is a wolf man, so no. Brookie Bruck. Well, I just did a show about. I've always been a firm disbeliever in Dogman until I discovered some evidence today that is the only possible solution to there being a Dogman. And that's what I went over in the show, and I'm just doing an after show for anyone who wants to discuss it or whatever. And you can go to this link here if you want to talk instead of type. I think that they are. I think that Bigfoot, or, I mean, I heard a story about this guy. It was his house, but he lived in a rural area, and the woods backed right up to his backyard. You know, he had a yard with grass and all that stuff, and then the woods all the way around. And I think she was 5 or 6 years old, his daughter, well, his youngest. He had 2, I think, if I remember right. And some of their friends was over there, and the other one was older. She was 8. And they were playing kickball. And one of them kicked the ball, and it went shooting up the side of the house. And all of the older kids went running after it. And the little 5, 6-year-old was still in the backyard. She couldn't keep up with them. She was too little. And she was like picking flowers and stuff like that. And the guy said he was drinking his coffee, and he just looked out the sliding glass doors, and he saw her out there picking flowers. And Bigfoot come running through the yard, snatched her up, and run off in the forest with her, and he never saw her again. You know, ate her. Nobody wants to do the town hall voice channel, huh? It's going to be a regular thing. So you're going to be able to ask it when I'm doing an interview. You're going to be able to go in there and ask the questions, you know, instead of calling in, you know, you would be in there, and I would just enable you to ask questions one at a time, kind of thing. And right now, the town hall, everyone can just talk. We did that last night, and it worked out pretty good. I had, I forget, it was 4 or 5 people in there. We were all talking Bigfoot. We talked for a long time, like 4 hours after the show. 4, 5 including me. Well, I interviewed Brenda Harris a while back. She's a Bigfoot investigator out in New Mexico. And she says, yeah, there's dogmen out there and stuff. She's like, I forget exactly. It seems to me like she's close to the Arizona border. So, you know, she actually does stuff in Arizona and New Mexico. And she's talked about there being dogmen out there. So, Crypto, what Wolfman are you referring to? Are you talking about Dogman? Or are you talking about literally some kind of werewolf or something? Is there something like that out there now? All right, folks, if nobody's got any questions or whatever, I'll go ahead and close out the show. If you got any questions, go ahead and this is our last chance to throw them up there, or topic of discussion, whatever. I don't know. Werewolf. Are you talking about the Dogman? Because the Dogman's not. I think some people think, oh, it's a werewolf, or it's the Dogman is what werewolf stories are based on. But as far as an actual werewolf, first of all, it's not possible because it's a man that's been transfigured into a wolf. It's just make believe. Well, werewolf because it walks on 2 feet and it looks like a canine. You know, I mean, that's all a werewolf is. Well, a werewolf is supposed to be a man that's been turned into a wolf, but it's still just well, I guess a wolf man. I don't know, but it's make believe. The dog man, like I said, I've never believed in him before until I found this evidence today, which I discussed in the show I just did. And in my opinion, that is the only possible way that there that a dog man can exist, is if it's descended from a giant raccoon from millions of years ago.
Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from Mattress King. For a limited time, save up to $2,000 on Tempur-Pedic floor models or our superior cool-to-the-touch Tempur-Pedic mattresses starting at just $23 a month for the queen size. Only at Mattress King.
Yeah, I think, like I said in the show, dogs, raccoons, and bears are all descended from the same one species from millions of years ago. So, like we had giant lemurs and giant sloths and that kind of stuff, I think it's possible that a couple million years ago, a giant raccoon lived, and it splintered off from this group that became bears, raccoons, and wolves, and eventually evolved the ability to walk bipedally, because that would be the only thing. If you had a giant raccoon that learned to walk bipedally, it would be a dogman. It would meet the description 100% of a dogman. So that to me is the only way that dogmen, as they're described, can exist. Because you're not going to have a canine mixed with a primate. It's just not possible. So basically, we don't have 4 types of Bigfoot, because dogmen are evidently what everyone calling type 4 Bigfoot. We have an undiscovered primate species, and we have an undiscovered, I don't even know what's really called. There's a scientific word for it, but I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. But we have a undiscovered primate and an undiscovered whatever. You know, raccoon. That's all I'm going to call it, is a raccoon. Undiscovered primate, undiscovered raccoon species from millions of years ago that is still survived till today. That's what we have. And the raccoon is vicious, which they are. I mean, imagine running into a raccoon that was 6 feet tall. Raccoons, as you know them, it would terrify me. The thing would tear you apart. Yeah, I've heard the whole lemur thing. And that's what's her face. And she's trying to say that humans are descended from lemurs too. And that's what makes them part human or something like that. I don't pay much attention to that woman because she's just, from everything I've heard, and I actually heard her I forget what show she was on. I've heard her talk, And she just sounds like she's so full of crap. I have a hard time, with the whole thing. She's saying that obviously Bigfoot's mated with human females. That's what she's saying. And now she's not saying, I mean, I can believe that happens, but she's saying that that's why all Bigfoots exist today, is because, at least the way she made it sound, was that all male Bigfoots have sex with human females. And that's what Bigfoots are. I think that if a Bigfoot has sex with a human, and I think that they do, I think when they snatch up females that they do have sex occasionally. Some of them do have sex with human females. But I'm on the fence as to whether anything would actually come of that. According to Native Americans, for thousands of years it's gone on, and they've actually had children from that. But I don't know. Just depends on how much, we'd have to get their genetic makeup and figure out, are they close enough to humans to where it could happen? It's even harder to do field research on dogmen than it is Bigfoot, because dogmen are more scarce than Bigfoot is. So, I mean, as hard as it is to find Bigfoot, it's even harder to find dogman. So for somebody to say they're researching dogman, unless they happen to be somewhere where there have been a lot of reports and they know, okay, I can go look for one. Like me, there's no reports of dogmen around here. If I wanted to do research on dogman, I'd have to find someplace in the country and move there. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's not possible. Well, not impossible. It's just not likely, I guess, is a better way to put it. Yeah, it does tick me off because it just makes things so much harder. But, from their perspective, playing devil's advocate, they think it's a bunch of crap. So they think people who believe that Bigfoot is real are just crazy. And they're like, it's no big deal for them to do it. You know what I mean? They're not doing it maliciously to mess up well, there might be some disinformation people doing stuff like that, but by and large, the hoaxes, that's all. They're just horsing around, And unless you can convince them that Bigfoot is real, they're not going to stop. They're going to always do it. Like Rick Dyer, he's got a real Bigfoot, that whole crap that he did. I forget when he did that. It was a while ago, where he toured the country with the fake Bigfoot and all that. I saw the tent video when he first put it up, and I put on there, I think those guys, Facebook Finding Bigfoot, put it up first or something, and I got right on there immediately. I mean, I was like the third comment, and I said, this is not a Bigfoot. They don't look like that. This is a hoax. And I got reamed by all kinds of people jumping on there going, oh, this is the best evidence of Bigfoot ever. It's real, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, it's not. Because I've seen one from 5 feet away. This is not a real Bigfoot. They do not look like this. And then, what was it, over a year and a half later, finally everyone, oh yeah, it was a hoax. What killed me about that, to go down that a little further, is that the Bigfoot in the tent video looked different from the pictures of the dead Bigfoot on the table, which looked different from the video footage that he put out there that was supposed to be the film that they were making about the killing of Bigfoot. All three of them looked different. The tent video and the one on the slab looked the closest. The one in the video, it looked like some bald-headed, you know, mask from Halloween or something. It didn't look nothing like the other two. And yet everyone bought into it being the same thing and that it was real. And it just blew my mind. How can you do? They don't look anything alike. So, John, have you seen one? Is that why you have no doubts? Yeah, actually, I did an episode where I explained why the Patterson-Gimlin film is real. I'll find it and tell you what it was. Here, hold on.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Boscoin.
Scared the shit out of me. I wish whoever keeps going through and flagging my videos would stop doing it. Somebody's trying to make sure that I'm not able to make money on my videos. They keep flagging. And they flag the same ones over and over again. The one that they flag the most is the Todd Standing one. It makes me think it was him. But let's see, where is... Alright, episode 6. Called Proof the Patterson-Gimlin Sasquatch Film and Patty Are Real. Yeah, that video, when I switched tabs, it scared the hell out of me. Hey, Corey. Tell you a story. You missed it. I told all my stories already. I'm going to have to redo the audio on last night's show. I didn't realize my noise gate was cutting off the audio. So I'm going to have to download it, replace the audio, and put it back up. Let's see, a story. Can't think of none. Not Bigfoot oriented anyway. I mean, nothing I haven't talked about before. I don't know. Supposedly they're saying the Yeti is actually a bear species related to polar bears that was thought to be long extinct. So I don't know, because you really don't hear anything about Yetis anymore. Right, and don't forget, right here, you can get onto Discord and talk instead of type. Oh, no microphone? Yeah, that makes it kind of tough, doesn't it? Probably not. Has it been a while since you've been here? Because I got multiple sclerosis. I got hospitalized. I'm messed up pretty bad now. So I'm hoping by next spring I'll be able to walk well enough to be able to go out, you know, in uneven terrain again. You know, right now I can barely walk in my yard without falling on my ass. I'd like to, though. You know, if next spring I'm walking well enough to get out there and do something, you know, that plan will come back to life where I'll be working towards that end. My idea is to get a motorhome and travel the country, go into Bigfoot hotspots and do research where instead of spending a couple of days, I actually spend weeks at each one of these locations and see what I can come up with. Well, thanks, Matthew. I called you in Montana. Remind me. Did I interview you on the show or called you in Montana? So that's the other thing with MS. My memory's not what it used to be anymore either. It's really messed up my memory. All right, John. Thanks for stopping by. Really? For an interview? What? Tell me what your encounter was, and that'll remind me, I think. Really? You just said that we did talk. What happened? You said I called you in Montana.
Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from Mattress King. For a limited time, save up to $2,000 on Tempur-Pedic floor models or our superior cool-to-the-touch Tempur-Pedic mattresses starting at just $23 a month for the queen size. Only at Mattress King.
Remember when you had to put on pants to get takeout, rent a movie, get a date? Of course you don't. And now, finally, you can get phone service the same way.
Oh, heck, what is today?
Pantsless. Introducing Visible, the phone service in an app. Learn more at visible.com.
Yeah, I got a call guy tomorrow about an interview, actually.
Intelligence meets hard performance. It's obsessively engineered with advanced MMI.
So, Corey, we didn't talk at all? Because you said I called you in Montana. Did I just leave a voicemail or something? We didn't actually end up talking? What happened?
It is the all-new Audi A6. Progress is never satisfied. Visit USA.com to learn more.
So we played phone tag and then just kind of, oh, I bet you that might have been right around the time I was getting surgery and stuff. Or around the time I got MS, one or the other, because both of those times didn't really do much. Well, Corey, did you just say that you don't have a microphone? Because you could jump into my Discord here and we could talk. I could actually start a new interview show and Yes, yes, you're the one without the microphone. Is that it? Hi, Amy. You talking to LBL, you mean the family of 4 that was killed and then the hunter that was killed? Are those the 2 you're talking about? Or is these 2 new ones you're talking about? Or 2 different ones, anyway. All right, Corey. Yeah, do that. And remind me of what your encounter was, because that'll probably jog my memory, if you ever told me. Amy, weren't you in Discord last night? Was that you? Oh, no, I guess not. So you can do that link right there. Come into the voice channel and we can talk instead of type. For those of you who didn't catch that. Keep kicking my camera stand. Not dog-like? You just said they were dogmen. Well, I do remember that this might be what you're saying, but the family of 4, the little girl that was half eaten, they said that those the bite was human, but huge. That was evidently something they were able to determine. They could not chalk it up to a predator attack because of that. But they couldn't say what it was because obviously there is no such thing as a human with a mouth that big. Yeah, that was either, I think Kunbo was the one who talked about that because he actually went up there and investigated it and talked to the people involved, the first responders. And I think he might have talked to the girl that worked in the convenience, I think it was a truck stop or it was a gas station, but I don't know if it was a truck stop or just a regular. I think he might have talked to her too, because she was the first one that the cops that were the first responders left, and the one was freaking out, the one with the blood dripped on him. He was freaking out, and she ended up talking to him, and she found out directly from them what had happened. Because I heard her interviewed, I don't know if it was on Bigfoot Outlaw or Sasquatch Chronicles or one of the others, but I heard her talk about that, and then Kumbo talked about when he went up and investigated. And he was, I'm pretty sure it was Kumbo that said that the bite marks were human, or like human, you know. Well, see, that's the thing. If it's a Bigfoot, it would had to have been a juvenile, because the general consensus is that a full-grown Bigfoot is too heavy to climb a tree, just like a bear. You know, they're too heavy to climb up in a tree because the tree will break. But then you hear stories like Wes and Woody, who say there were full-grown Bigfoots up in trees. So I don't know who to believe, but the little girl was found 30 feet up in a tree, half eaten. So, and she was 9 years old, which means she probably weighed somewhere around 80 pounds. I don't know that even a cougar could have dragged her up in a tree 30 feet. Even if they did, John, if they did get DNA, there's nothing to compare it to because they don't recognize Bigfoot as a species. Therefore, there is no DNA profile in the bank for them to compare it to. So I don't remember if they did or they didn't, because it wouldn't have mattered if they did. If they did, they would have said it was contaminated or unknown predator or something like that, which they've said with other things. You know, so it wouldn't have mattered if they did. DNA at the time, I want to say that happened in the 80s. I think it was the 80s when that happened, so DNA was around, but it was real tough to do.
Can you hear me, Rick?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, Matt? Oh. Yeah, what's going on, Matt?
What's happening? What's happening?
Oh, not much. You kind of shocked me there.
Yeah, everything changed on here. I don't know, you must have did something.
Oh, it's just a different channel. This one's the town hall. You were in the after show last night.
Oh, okay. So I'm on the wrong channel?
No, that's the link I put up was for the town hall because I'm going to have different ones for different purposes. Like the town hall is going to be like just for people shooting the shit about like encounters and that kind of stuff. And then the after show is, actually I should have made it after show, but I created the town hall and put it in there before I realized, thought about it.
Okay, roger that, roger that.
Can y'all, am I still online with you guys? Because this says I'm offline, which is weird because I'm still
So
seeing
you're
my
talking
video.
now on YouTube, but I can't hear you talking on YouTube.
Well, if you have YouTube muted, that would be why. But right now, my live show thing says I'm offline, but I can see my video. It's bizarre. I've never seen it do that before. Oh yeah, John said I'm still online, so I don't understand why it's saying I'm offline. That's bizarre. Always something with this YouTube.
I wish everybody would come over to Discord because this is cool as hell.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I think it's going to take a while. I mean, people have to install the app and all that stuff, so it'll take a while. But hopefully after a while, people will get into it.
Yeah, I think so.
I am...
Where's Dee Dee? Has she been on yet tonight or no?
No, I haven't seen her. I am on Facebook, but I don't use Facebook much because I was in military intelligence. And Facebook just asks too many questions. And for me, they're just gathering intel, and they're probably selling all the information to the FBI and the government and all kinds of people. So I don't believe in Facebook. So I haven't posted anything on my Facebook account in probably 2 years. So what's going on, Matt? Thanks for joining me in the Discord.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna I plan on a trip going to Georgia in April or May, and I'm going to do a little research down by the Tennessee-Georgia border there, North Georgia. See what I can find down there.
Where are you at?
I live here in Michigan right now.
You do much research up in Michigan?
No, I haven't, but when I was a kid, we lived on a dairy farm that used to be like 200 to 500 acre dairy farm. And at night, we would hear these screeches and howls and screams, and we could never figure out what it was. And we know bobcat. We lived in the woods all our life, and we never had a sighting or nothing like that. But you know, now knowing what I know, I see tree structures on YouTube and everything. I had seen structures when I was a kid out in them woods, and it scares the hell out of me now because after seeing all them, man.
So what part of Michigan are you in?
Right now I'm in Grand Rapids, but where I used to live, it was Lake County. It's northern Michigan.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I know that there's been Bigfoot sightings down around South Bend, Indiana, which is, you know, southwest Michigan. I don't know where Grand Rapids is, but it's a lot closer than Georgia.
Oh, yeah. I know where South Bend is. Yeah, there's a lot of sightings down there.
There and starting south of Muncie on the eastern side of Indiana. That's where all the wood starts, and it goes down around Indianapolis and spreads west, and basically from there on down there's a lot of woods and a lot of sightings.
You know, Indiana, man, it's like, when you drive through Indiana, it's flat as hell. But there is a lot of farmland, and I think that's how they're surviving. They're hitting at farms.
Well, like I said, once you get south of Muncie, it turns into forest and less farm. The farm is all up north of Muncie and then going west, because I lived just across the border from Fort Wayne, Indiana, into Ohio. And that was the same way. It was nothing but farmland, you know, flat farmland with stands of trees scattered around. And I hated that because I wanted to do some research, but the only way you could do that is to go way down southeast Ohio, or go down south of Muncie, down around Indianapolis and Louisville and down in there, you know.
Right.
But there were quite a few sightings down there just south of Muncie. Or is it Muncie? I think I was right. Let me look it up.
Yeah, don't the Mississippi River cut through there too somewhere?
No, the Mississippi is west of Indiana. It's like
right.
Between Indiana and Illinois, I think, if I remember right. They do have what they call the Three Rivers area, though, where like the Ohio River and I forget what the other two are. They all come together right there at Fort Wayne, and then they continue on from there.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking about, the Three River. It's forks right there, I think.
Yeah, I was right. It's down around Muncie. Actually, I've seen that there are sightings as far north as around Decatur, Indiana, which is not far south of Fort Wayne. But Decatur is about where your wooded area, where it starts to thin out to the point where it's all farmland. And then down around Muncie is when it really thickens up, south of Muncie.
Yeah, I think Sasquatch hits the rural areas too, like on the edge of town and things like that. 'Cause you hear reports of them dumpster diving and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually in the Tennessee Valley, Corey. That's where I'm at now. I moved from Ohio. I'm down in Alabama now. I think Bigfoots are snowbirds. If you know what that saying is, snowbirds are people who live, they go south for the winter and back up north for the, which I guess
Yeah, I
is
truly
my
believe these things are real, man. There's just too many reports. I mean, not everybody's crazy. Come on. It's just, there's too many reports for it not.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to change my settings real quick.
Yeah.
All right, can you hear me, Matt?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yeah, I set myself to voice activated so I don't have to keep pushing the button. This way you can hear when I'm talking to the YouTube side too.
Right, makes it easy.
Yeah, I think they're migratory, John. I think that they, like the one that comes through here and was screaming every night. When as soon as the weather got like up in the mid 80s to 90s, it was gone. So I think it went farther north, and I'm hoping that now that it's cooling off again, because actually today I think it was in the 80s still, but as of tomorrow, the highs are going to be the mid 60s to 70, and that's it for the foreseeable future. So I think all the hot weather is gone. So I'm hoping that the Bigfoot's going to come back through. I'm north of Huntsville in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah. I live about 5 miles south of the Tennessee border.
Okay, all right. I know where you're at. What's your setup there? You got like how much acreage do you have right there by you?
Well, I actually live in a house on a street, but right across the street is a cotton field where they do farming. And there's wooded areas around here. Actually, there's a big wooded area right behind my house with a little pond. I see deer out here all the time in my backyard. And then across the road is where I keep hearing that Bigfoot. Yeah, that's where I am, Corey, Hazel Green, Alabama. Yep, that's exactly where I am. Across the road here, there's a cotton field, and about maybe a quarter of a mile back in the field, there's a creek bed that runs through it from north and south. And I think that there's a Bigfoot that walks that creek bed at night, traveling, to do whatever it does, hunting or whatever. And every night I moved here in December, and almost every night, I mean, there were a few nights where I didn't hear it, but I think I might have just fell asleep and didn't hear it. But every night from then until about either the middle or end of May, that I'd hear it scream, and then the coyotes would go off. And it would scream a couple of times, once or twice or three, it was different every night. And then it would be quiet for a while, and then sometime between 2 and 5 in the morning, to hear it again as it came back the other way.
Sounds like it's definitely hunting.
Yeah, my sister said she heard it one night, and she heard another one answer. So she said she thought it was a mother calling the baby, and the baby responded. I never heard that, but she said she heard that. She also saw one grab a coyote right across the street from our house. That she heard a coyote being, you know, yelping and being brutalized. And then she saw the coyote come out of the field, and then something, she said, the size of a grizzly bear came out right behind it and pounced on it and drug it back into the field.
Wow.
And that was only about 30 feet from my door.
That's close to home.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised it hasn't come and beat on the house and stuff. But there's a lot of houses on this side of the street. The other side of the street, nothing. It's just farmland. But on this side of the street, there's a lot of houses. And the odd thing is that the houses just south of here, they just built like 4 houses. And there was one that was pre-existing when I moved here. And they all have lights all the way around them. I'm talking, got to be 20, 30 lights in the, like the soffit, all the way around the house. These houses are completely lit up all night. And I keep going by, every time I go by there, I go, I got to ask those people why they put all those lights out there. Because maybe they know about the Bigfoot, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty squatchy around here, Corey.
Yeah, I think them coyotes piss them off so bad that they just tear into them.
I don't know, John. I don't know if I put any credence into them being a missing link. I guess it's. No, I wouldn't say missing link. I think they're an offshoot of humankind, whatever that might be, depending on how far back you go. I think that's what it is. And Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal, 2 different things. Neanderthal there for a long time was considered not even human, or not one of our relatives. Cro-Magnon was. Cro-Magnon they thought was, I think, one of our predecessors, and Neanderthal they thought was split off, but now they're saying we're part Neanderthal and all that stuff. So they change their mind every 10 years anyway. Because something new is discovered. Like Bigfoot, you know. But yeah, hopefully by next spring I'll be good enough to where I can go out here looking for this Sasquatch that screams. I hope it comes back through screaming. I went and got myself a... What is this? I went and got myself a Tascam 44WL audio recorder. And I got this one specifically because it goes down to 5 hertz. It'll record down to 5 hertz, which means that it's capable of recording infrasound.
So is that state land across from you? What?
What's that?
Is that state land across from you, or is it private owned?
Private, I guess. They farm cotton over there. Cotton's a big thing down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I say throw that recorder out there somewhere.
Well, that's why I got it, was so if it could, I bought the thing, and then I forget if it was the day before it actually arrived was the last day that I heard the thing scream. I actually bought it so I could record it, and then it stopped. So isn't that always the way when you have the equipment, all of a sudden the Bigfoot's nowhere to be found?
Always happens.
Yeah, so, but I'm prepared if she comes back through here screaming. And I also got this because it's good for, like, when I go out and do investigations or whatever. It's good for recording interviews and that kind of stuff because it's a high quality recorder. They actually use this to do like documentaries and film work and stuff as their audio recorders, because you can sync it up with video and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually a pretty good audio device.
Man, Rick, that'd be awesome if you caught that thing on tape.
Yeah. And the fact that it goes down into infrasound, down to 5 hertz, that would be interesting. It's the only one that, well, they might have some like really high dollar ones that'll do that too, but this one is a reasonably priced audio recorder, and it's the only one I saw that went down that low. It goes down to 5 hertz. All the other ones went down to I want to say 50 hertz was the lowest they'd go. This one goes down to 5.
Wow, so you got a good one then.
Yeah, it goes amazingly low. But they're saying that it records down to 5 hertz. It has built-in microphones. But that means that the microphones themselves have to be able to record infrasound. Right? Well, microphones is one of the big problems of recording infrasound is that most microphones aren't designed to record that low. So this thing can the microphones are of that quality where they'll go down to 5 hertz and all the way up to 20 kilohertz. So it does the entire range from infrasound all the way up until you're out of human hearing. So it's pretty good deal. Yeah, John, as far as the teeth, I mean, we have canines, you know. If they're talking about big canines like a dog has, then that, again, would fit in with my theory about it being a giant raccoon, because a raccoon that big would have big teeth like a dog, big canines. Because raccoons actually have teeth like us. They have the canines and the incisors for ripping meat, but they also have the molars for crushing. Where dogs don't have that. And everything I've heard as far as Dogman, Bigfoot, is that they all do have molars. Some of them have canines, and some of them, they say all their teeth are flat like a horse. You know, so they're all molars. And then the dogmen that have the canines. So the only, well, I don't know if bears do. I imagine bears probably would because they're omnivores. But dogs don't. Otters don't. It would only be raccoons and bears if bears do. Which pretty much narrows it down to dogmen would have to be descended, or a mixture, or however you want to look at it, of raccoon and bear. Or just raccoon. Dog is less likely. Well, if they have teeth like dogs, then they don't have molars. Molars are for crushing. And raccoons have molars. Raccoons have teeth like we do. They have, you know, the eye teeth, the canines, the incisors, and the molars. Dogs don't. Still says I'm offline. It's crazy. I do too. I mean, as silly as it sounds, John, I think that I think these people really are seeing something that is other than Bigfoot, that meets the description, that in their perception is a dogman, but scientifically would meet the or match the description of a giant bipedal raccoon. And it sounds crazy as hell, but it is scientifically possible. assuming that a giant raccoon split off and evolved to walk bipedally. You know, it doesn't even have to be mixed with a dog. It doesn't have to be mixed with a bear. Just a giant raccoon in it of itself that evolved to walk bipedally would 100% match the description of a dogman. To include the aggression, because raccoons are aggressive little bastards.
Hell yeah, they are.
And I mean, just imagine a raccoon 7 feet tall. You know?
Be vicious.
Oh yeah. And hungry. So you're done. The raccoon would not care. I mean, yeah. So how's that music? It's not too loud, is it?
Not this end. I can barely hear it, so it's good.
Yeah, it's all. I just want a little background sound, and that's it. So I can hear it pretty good. Yeah, John, I agree. It's not a werewolf. A werewolf is a made-up fairy tale myth. You know, I think possibly the myth of the werewolf originated from people seeing these things, but not vice versa. You know, it's not that they are werewolves. It's just that I think that people, not knowing what they were looking at, they see something that looks like a canine walking on two legs that's huge, the size of or bigger than a man, and they didn't know how to make sense of it, and that's where the myth of the werewolf came from. They said, oh man, you know, magically a wolf must have bit a man, and he turned into a wolf that can walk and has arms and look like a man. That makes more sense to me than to think that werewolves are real. You know. All right, folks, if nobody's got any more topics of discussion or whatever, I've been on for a few hours now. Oh, now all of a sudden the chat just went crazy. Lycanthropy is an ancient legend. Yeah, I agree there. And like I said, it's more likely to me that the myth came from them seeing what people are calling dogmen and trying to make sense of it, than to actually be lycanthropy. Well, thanks, Amy. I think I am the first one to come up with the raccoon theory as well. Hey, Sam Squatch. You gotta watch my show, dude. I've come up with the theory that dogmen are actually giant raccoons. Scott Carpenter's Fox video. Seriously, Sam Squatch, look at the video I just did tonight before this one. I go into it. I was shocked, but it makes perfect sense now. Like me and you talked about the other night, I completely disagreed with Dogman. But I ran into some information today, and now all of a sudden, if dogmen are real, it can only be a giant, right? You know how we used to have giant sloths, giant lemurs. I think that if dogmen are actually real, if these people really are seeing these things they're describing, the only thing it can be is a giant raccoon that evolved to walk upright bipedally, just like Bigfoot's. Bigfoots are, you know, remnants from years ago that split off from primates, walk bipedally. That's what that is. The dogmen are the same thing, only instead of being primates, they're raccoons, because bears, dogs, raccoons, and believe it or not, otters are all descended from a common ancestor. Good night, John. As crazy as it sounds, it makes perfect sense. And I went through and showed the tree and everything, so watch my video soon.
Mattress King wants to know, how did you sleep last night? If you're not sleeping well, see your doctor.
Yeah, what's
if
up,
you're
Crypto?
Not sleeping well because of your mattress, see Mattress King. Where this holiday, you can save up to $600 on Sealy special purchase pillow tops, starting at just $2.99 for the queen size. Our best value Sealy Queen is just $4.99 and comes with a free TV. Or save up to $2,000 on Tempur-Pedic floor models. Shop in-store or online today at mattressking.net.
Again, for all of you, where am I at here? Right here. Here's my link to my town hall channel on Discord if you want to talk instead of type. Right now I've got Matt in here with me. It's just me and Matt right now.
Come on over, people. This is the way to do it right here.
Yeah, give your fingers a rest. Plus, somebody said you can't type more than, I think, 2 or 3 lines anyway. So it's hard for them if they have something, a lot to say.
Yeah, this is the way to go if you have something to say. Tell a story.
And I'm in, this is the town hall channel that this link goes to. It's the town hall channel. So this is where, kind of like finding Bigfoot town hall, if you got stories to tell, come on in here. We'll just, you know, do it.
Yep, it's a free app. Just download it. It's free.
Well, in this day and age, nobody should be that computer illiterate, Amy. They've made things so much easier to do these days than they used to be.
Believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. As long as you have a microphone, speakers or headphones, and you can hit download, install, it's pretty easy.
Now, don't most devices come with a built-in mic? Like your phone's got a built-in mic. This iPad's got a built-in mic.
Yeah, most of them have big built-in mic, speakers, and even webcams these days. Now, I use headphones so I can listen to stuff and it doesn't get echoed back into my microphone.
Right, I think you can go into settings. It's got a sensitivity thing in there too.
Well, my setup is different. I don't, you know, a lot of them have echo cancellation, like it programs. Even I think Discord does, because I didn't realize it last night, but my microphone was coming off my webcam instead of my main mic. And I
I see.
Yeah, I figured it out later. What that meant, that everything going on was going through the mic. So I think it has echo cancellation, but my main mic doesn't. So if I have, even if I get my headphones too close to my microphone, I'll get feedback. No, I don't think that they're that Bigfoots are the giants. If you're talking about like David and Goliath, I don't think so, because I think that those stories would have also included the fact that they were covered in hair and didn't wear clothes. You know.
I think these things are the beast of the forest.
Amy, your Android, are you talking about like your cell phone? because yeah, definitely it works on your cell phone. There's an app for your cell phone. Actually, at least one of the people that was in here last night was using the cell phone. I forget who, Dee Dee, I think. I think it was Dee Dee was using her cell phone. Yeah, you just go to the Google Play Store and look for Discord, download it, install it, and then go to this link I have there. And, you know, you do have to go into your voice settings and put it on push to talk. Because otherwise, if your dog's making noise or whatever, it'll echo and cause everybody problems. So you have to go in there and hit push to talk. And then a little button will come up on your screen. You just push it, you can talk, let off, you listen. It's pretty simple. The phone version is probably the simplest way to go. Around here, wild plants, as far as I know, it's just woods. You know, I don't... When I went up the road here, because I wanted to go and see if I could figure out where the thing was going through, and I did find a game trail that was 4 feet wide. I think that's where it's going through. All I saw was like briars, whatever. You know, thorns, thorn bushes, and trees. I don't remember even seeing any kind of berries or anything like blueberries, blackberries, whatever. But that was just there. My ability to leave the road is limited right now. You know, I tried just walking where the gravel shoulder slowly sloped and almost fell on my ass because I just can't handle that stuff right now. Hopefully by next spring I can.
Let me tell you, Rick, if you got a 4 foot wide game trail, that is a major run.
Yeah. It has to be a big, where the Bigfoot's going through. And that was on one side. On the other side, there was enough, like just natural opening to where it wouldn't have made a game trail. It could have just walked through there. But on the other side, it was thick bushes, like thorn bushes and that kind of stuff. And then there was a definite game trail that was about 4 foot wide.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That could be an ambush point too.
No, it was on the side of the road, kind of where the creek went under the road, and they have like the, you know, the culverts going under the road, and
okay.
And then the creek bed went on. It was kind of to the side of that. You know what I'm saying? Where the bushes and the trees and everything were overgrown where the culvert was, and right around the ditch line, and then right next to it, almost like it came up out of the creek to the side of the culvert, and that's where the game trail opening was, and it crossed the road right there. That's what it looked like.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that they're more scared of us, Crypto. I think that they just have a healthy apprehension of us. But I think they will mess you up, and they will kill you. They will eat you. They will rip you apart. You know, it just depends on if the mood strikes them.
I think they try to avoid us mostly.
I think it's 50-50. I think it depends on the Bigfoot. I think some of them, yeah, they do try to avoid us, and then there are some that are so curious they seek out humans, and I think there are some that hate humans, and they're just gonna kill us and eat us, and you know, it's just all different things. It's just like our society. If you go to a city, like I grew up in Boston, you know, you go to like the projects, and you're taking your life in your hands. You go to the combat zone, you're taking your life in your hands. But then you can go a couple of streets over, and it's like, you know, apple pie and roses and rainbows. And, you know, everything's cool. You know, it just depends. Used to be you couldn't walk through the Boston Commons, which is like Central Park in New York. The Boston Commons in Boston is the same thing in Boston. They call it the Commons. You go through there, you get mugged. You know, when I was growing up, it ain't like that anymore. They've cleaned it up, but you couldn't go through the Commons without getting mugged or killed because you know there were a lot of drug deals going on in there and stuff. But they've cleaned all that up now. Evidently, it's nice there now. When I grew up in Boston, it was like if you ever seen the movie The Gangs of New York. That's what it was like.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I was 10 years old. I was in gang fights. Not like guns like the Bloods and the Crips. We used bicycle chains and hockey sticks and stuff like that to beat the hell out of each other.
Pieces of pipe.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was mostly like we just wanted to beat the hell out of each other, not kill each other. Like the most aggressive weapon would have been a bicycle chain, because that'll mess you up pretty good, but it won't kill you. Hockey stick, you know, if somebody really beats you your brains in with it, yeah, but in general they didn't do that. But a steel pipe, a lead pipe or something, yeah, that's probably going to do somebody in real quick. You hit it, smack them in the head with it, they're done. So, Amy, are you going to do that now, or are you talking about later? Because I'm getting ready to close it up, and I'll wait for you if you're going to do it now, just to make sure you get it working and everything for the next show. Oh, crypto, you're going to do it too? All right. Let me know, Amy, let me know, and I'm going to wait for crypto. Make sure I know if you're going to do it, so I'll wait for you so y'all get your squared away, and I have to add a role to you so that you can talk, otherwise you can't. Oh, okay. Next time then. Yeah, go ahead and get it all installed and everything, and then next time you can just go to the link, because I have to actually add a role so that you can talk in here. Otherwise, you know, like if anyone else comes in like a troll or whatever, and I don't give them a role, they can't talk. They can be seen and not heard, you know. All right, crypto, I'm waiting on you, I guess. Are you going to try to get in here tonight or not? Good night, Amy.
I think this is going to catch on real good once people figure out how easy this is.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome. I think it's going to catch on like wildfire.
Oh yeah, I think it'll get to the point where I'll have to start limiting it because so many people will be in there talking over each other and everything.
Yeah, I think you're right.
have to make it maybe a premium feature where you have to donate on Patreon or something. You know, I think it'll actually catch on that well.
Yeah, you figure you get 20 people on here talking, yeah, it could get a little scrambled.
Yeah. Well, I have ways of controlling it, but it's not convenient as far as, like, if I had a room of 20 people, it would be very difficult for me to allow one person at a time to talk, because I actually have to, like, click on them, go in their settings and enable and disable stuff and mute, and so it's not real convenient in that way. It's more or less for, like, if you get 15, 20 people in there, they all have to behave themselves. That's basically the way it has to work. That's the best way for it to work.
Yeah, it boils down to common courtesy, you know.
Right. Or in the chat, when you're typing, it doesn't matter, because you can't, like, type over somebody. It all gets put in there. Well, you can't do that when you're talking, obviously.
Exactly.
I do have a way of making, so, like, I can set, like, if I'm interviewing somebody, I can set my audio and their audio to preempt everybody else's. So, like, if I'm talking and other people try to talk at the same time, it automatically reduces their volume so that everyone can hear me over everybody else.
Ah, okay. That might work.
Yeah, as far as the interview and stuff. But when you're doing a town hall or after show where you kind of want everybody to be able to talk, it's more difficult, because I can't do that in that scenario.
I can't wait till you get somebody on here with an interview. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, I actually have 3 people right now that want to do interviews, and I think it's 3. It's either 2 or 3. And I asked them about, you know, Discord, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not a computer person. I'll just use the phone." But right now, I don't have my phone cord, so I can't do it on the phone. That's why the interview I did last night, I actually recorded it on my audio recorder while using the speakerphone in my car, so that it sounded better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a special cord for my phone.
Mattress King wants to know, how did you sleep last night?
Do interviews, but I've moved around everything in here. I don't know where the heck I put it. I've got boxes still unpacked or packed up and stuff. So
starting at just $2.99.
I gotta start tearing through everything and see if I can find it.
Silly Queen is just $4.99 and comes with
It's like one of the things that turn up when you don't need it.
$2,000.
Yeah, well, it cost me like $20 for that cable.
Or online today at
it wasn't cheap. It's a special cable. You know, because you have to have your mic and your headphones separate in order to be able to patch it into my mixing panel. So it takes a tip ring, something like that. It's got like 4 or 5 you know, of those ring connectors on it. It's not just like a stereo deal or a stereo and microphone. It actually takes multiple.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah. And then it splits it out into microphone and headphones or speakers, whatever. So that because I could get one that was just, you know, like it has a microphone on the cord and headphones. You can get those. Those are no problem. Those are cheap. Those are a dime a dozen. But in order to get one that splits it out so that I can do a separate microphone and separate headphones, that was where the challenge was, finding one. And they're kind of expensive because not many people use them, I guess, is why they're expensive.
Yeah, specialty item. They're not cheap.
You know, unless you have a need for a separate headphones and microphone, people are generally just going to get the earbuds with the microphone on the cord or something like that, you know. At Crypto, what do you mean says updates failed? I don't understand what that means. If you're installing it, it wouldn't be updating, it would just be installing it. Unless you already had it installed. Then it would say updates. All right, Crypto. Yeah. Work it out, and then next time you can try to jump in here. This is going to be a regular thing. I'm going to try and make this a regular thing, and, you know, maybe eventually only have a small group of people that are always in here to talk and that kind of stuff. Well, your iMac should work fine on an iMac, because it's kind of geared toward gaming and stuff like that's what Discord is. It's for mainly its original purpose was for people who play games like you know, Counter-Strike and that kind of stuff, to be able to talk to each other while they're playing. And then it's evolved since then, its origins. But
Yeah, Crypto, I had that happen to me. What I did was I went out of the app and then went back into the app, and it worked.
Matt, do you have an iMac too?
No, I've got a Apple iPad.
Oh, well, same, basically, you know, he's got an iMac, you have an iPad, that's both Mac. Probably has the same OS on it. Well, iMac, no, it'll probably have OS 10. Not OS 10, is it OS 10? Yeah. And then yours would have, actually, I don't know what the hell yours would have. Was it Apple OS? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, iOS. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you got iOS on your iMac and you're running the same thing that Matt was, and he just said all he had to do was close the app and reopen it, and it worked fine. He had the same problem. And my watchers has dropped from 11 all the way down to 4 just in like the last 10 minutes. I guess everyone's fading out. And one of the things I want to do is get this going to like the town hall, a good use for the town hall channel would be like if I'm going to do, we're going through the videos, like videos I like, videos that are interesting, videos that are compelling, etc., and so on. So everybody can be in the town hall and they can discuss it. And then the after show obviously is just talking about the show I did, you know, which is what this should have been, but I put the town hall link in instead of the after show. Which is the same thing. It doesn't really matter. It's just for when people come in here and they look at the channel, they get an idea of what each one is for. But ultimately it don't matter because it's all talk. Crypto, are you going to try it again or not, man? If you're still here. All right, then. We've dropped down to four watchers, and I've been on for, what is it now? An hour and 40 minutes on the after show. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and get some sleep, I guess. So until next time, y'all take it easy.